Welcome to the greatest Rotary Club in the universe. Here to start us off with our invocation, Travis Heisman.
Hello. All right. Well, in honor of the scouts here today, I'm going to share one of our favorite.
Oh, wait a minute. That better work back there. Frantic.
It does not work.
No, lights on. Lights on, but nobody's on.
Hello.
Daryl, battery, please.
Lights on, the battery's working.
It worked like 10 minutes ago, I swear to God. Go ahead, Travis.
Time's up.
Anyway, in honor of one of our favorite Eagle Scouts from our troop, we're going to use his invocation. Please bow your head. Lord, bless this food in the hands that prepared it. Amen.
All right, thank you. Flag salute. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And a four-way test.
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial for all concerned?
Daryl, we have a song.
Let's do one we haven't done for a long time. I've been working on the railroad. Good tempo, right, Bill? All right, here we go. I've been working on the railroad all the live long day. I've been working on the railroad just to pass the time away. Rise up early in the morning.
Visiting Rotarians. All right, how about visitors? And we have a few. Anna.
So this is my friend Zoe. She just moved into the valley. She's from Utah, so she wanted to come check out this amazing Rotary Club. So she's here.
Thank you, Zoe. And you got a special treat because Anna's one of our speakers today, and you get to hear her tell all about her, young sparking days and other young things. So we're all waiting to hear her. Any other guests? Maybe go ahead, Travis.
Use the microphone. Well, every year we like to have the Boy Scouts come, Troop 70, and they have some stuff on the tables for you, but I'll introduce them and then they're going to stand up and just say a little bit. Is now okay, Carl?
Absolutely.
Okay. So first let me introduce Carrie Coker. So Carrie is Evan's mom, but Carrie is also one of my employees at Rotary County. So, and then we have Luke Meadow, who is the current senior patrol leader of Troop 4070, and Evan Coker, who is the past senior patrol leader. So, Nick, or Luke, you ready? Thank you for your support.
Hey, Chad, if that microphone's working, there you go.
Thank you for your
It's too far.
Thank you for your support this past year.
I think it's too far from
we had a
the receiver.
fantastic time at camp in Montana.
That's the only thing I think of is what's up here.
We also went to Silverwood with some of the extra money that we fundraised. This year we are going to Fire Mountain. It's very close to here. We needed something with a closer drive. But it's still $380 for each boy. So we got a lot of we can get. Thank you for supporting. One extra note, on the 27th, price. They are each $12. Thank you.
So there's points set in order forms on your table, and the price is $8 to $12. Is that what I heard?
$12.
$12. Okay. If you only give them 8, then you just take the money. Go ahead.
Carl, let me add, we do need to have the orders in today, and they'll be delivered by December 6th.
All right. Well, thank you guys. All right. And we have another guest that I brought. Dave Princehorn is here from Kaufman Engineers. He's a water and wastewater engineer, and we're super happy to have him. He's from Arizona, even though he used to be from Central Washington.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good thing is I deal with water and wastewater, so guess what we're going after this? Carl and I are going to wastewater. I got nothing to do.
Yeah, don't tell anybody that I'm going to go pump, sewage around. I don't want that to get out. All right. Is there any club business from any of our board members? And if not, anybody have any announcements? Becky?
I'm sending a sign-up sheet around for the Christmas party, so it's right there with that table, so keep sending it around.
Sign up for the Christmas party. That's the best party of the year. Chuck?
Oh, hey, you guys, we have 2 Washington Husky tickets for this Saturday. We'd like to give away. It's a 1:30 p.m. game against the Oregon State Beavers.
You got 2?
Yeah, so if anybody wants them, they're presenting.
Okay, let's hold that thought. Anybody can go to the game this weekend? It's a Husky game, right? All right, well, ruminate on that. If you think you can use them or know somebody who can, talk to Chuck and find out. We have a work party this Saturday at Avery Martin's house. Anna, are you ready for it?
I will be.
Do you have any kind of burn permit for all the burning you're going to do? You do?
Yeah.
All right, that's excellent. Okay. Mike, you want to talk about it?
Anna, where are we meeting at 9 o'clock?
Babcock, I believe.
Babcock's at the far side? Where
The far side.
there's a big arena that there's a big arena that we're going to get out at 9 o'clock, and I think people don't understand the importance of, I'm bringing a couple 4-wheelers, but I need people to drive them, because the idea is that they want all these trails when we're done, and so the best way to make trails is to just drive on them, and then we're going to have groups put a fence in, we're burning some big piles, so there's a job for everybody, and it's not very hard work. So and that's the kind of one, and then I think Avery's going to have a whole bunch of hot dogs and food for us. Is that right? Perfect.
Rich?
I think you got an email from me yesterday about the auction. We're going to get started on it. And I'd like to have you kind of respond and tell me what your interest level is and how much you want to be involved. Because we have like 35 people on this list, and that'd be great, but I can't use 35 people full time. So if you want to work on the auction, please let me know what your interest is. Thanks.
The answer is you want to work on the auction. It's just telling Rich how. There you go. We have a really cool thing that John Alstrom gave me today. It's a bunch of pictures that he took, and he had a family member. Yeah. Family member put this together with music and everything, and it's about the construction of Tesert Field. I'm going to review it, and I'll try to figure out a way to send out a link to everybody in the club so that you can all share with it. And if I can figure out a way to do it on our display, maybe we'll show a portion or all of this at the club meeting. So thank you, John. That's great. All right. Is there any other announcements? No. All right. Today's special day. We got new member talks, but before we get into that, let's have a raffle.
First number is 41. $25 to E&E. Number 25. Coffee table there.
All Harris Award winners pay $2 each.
What's that? What's that?
Paul Harris Award.
Paul Harris Award winners pay $2 each. Number 11.
Almost picked that.
Who's number 11?
Number 11. Ah, here we go, right up front. That was a soft spin, Doc. $25 for the train wreck bar and grill. Train wreck $25. Number 45. Oh, awesome. Guess winner. I think you're gonna have to spin again. $25 to the Skagit Farmer Supply. We'll get that to you. All right.
If you don't have a coupon, just give me back.
I'm looking.
All right, are you done with that? And how about the Sergeant at Arms?
All right. Just kind of throwing on the last minute, so I don't have a bunch of trivia questions for you like last week. So first, we're just going to pick on some people that have birthdays this month. So if I call your name, please stand up and then put $2 on the table. We got Ron Wilson on the 3rd. Jeff McCann on the 7th. Mark Nilsson, the 19th. Chris Rothenmuller, the 21st. On the 23rd, we have Carl Garrison and Tim Lair. The 24th is Stephanie Bachmeyer. On the 27th, we have Tim Howland, Nolan Kipling, and Phil Mahala. And on the 30th, we have Owlie. All right, give them all a round of applause. Is there anybody whose birthday is this month that we missed? Crickets? Okay. Anniversaries are next. So, if I call your name here, like you stand up, and give $3. If you'd like to say something to your significant other, just let me know and I'll hand you the mic. So first we have, on the 4th, Steve and Jan Massey. Also on the 4th, also on the 4th we have Chuck and Tony Rule. On the 13th, so just a couple days ago, Carl and Julia.
Yeah, I bet Julia has something to say.
Yeah, Yeah, it's a total of 6, by the way.
I paid 5, you can pay 1.
Okay, and our last anniversary of the month was Brock and Catherine Stiles. Okay, just so we're all involved here, if I didn't call your name, throw $1 on the table. And a couple more quick ones. If you're not wearing your name tag, or if at any time in the last 2 months you've left with your name tag on, please pay $1. If you don't remember, pay $1. Lastly, if you're not wearing something Seahawks related, put $1 on there. And one more. If you want to stand up and declare your love for the Green Bay Packers, you can, but it'll cost you $10. Anyone? All right. All right. Thanks, everybody.
How about Happy Bucks?
Happy Bucks. Who's got some Happy Bucks?
I got a happy 5. I was taking my daughter to school this morning, driving north past Cascade, and kind of forgot about the 20-mile-an-hour school zone there, going 27. Got pulled over, but got a warning about a ticket. So happy 5.
I was going to give a happy 20, but he already extracted $3, so I'm giving a happy 17, and then it's 3 more. As most of you know, I have solar panels, and once a year I get a check from Puget Sound Energy for my production that goes back into the system. And it's because it was built with state-built materials, it's actually subsidized also by the state. Anyway, yesterday I got a check of something over $4,000. Well, most of you know my daughter Emily, who is a Rotary student, and has been to many incidents. I had the pleasure of traveling all over the United States for softball with. But last Sunday evening, a young man from Canada who she's been dating for the last 2 years proposed. So it seems that we have a wedding to plan. Congratulations.
I'm happy because Brother Ray had valve replacement this week, and he is doing so well. It's absolutely amazing, and it's really a matter of trying to keep him from doing too much at the moment, because he had it on Tuesday, and I went and saw him yesterday, and he was like, "Oh, I'm going to go for a walk." Well, you're not. So he's doing really well. And then my son Merrick, whose birthday is next week, picked up his Tesla in Kansas City yesterday, so he's really excited.
Got a happy 5 for my daughter. I had parent-teacher conference this morning, and she got all excellent marks on all of her academics, and yeah, that's it. So she's proud.
I got a happy 5, had an awesome milestone birthday party last weekend, and I just want to say thank you for you guys who came out and enjoyed it with me. So.
Any more happy bucks? We got one up here.
This is a grateful 5 daughters. My brother John lives on the very edge of Chico in California, and they've had to evacuate their home twice. The first time, I did not think their home would make it through the night, but they were fortunate both times their home survived. A lot of people without homes, and displaced families, pets, whatever, so just continue to send your love and prayers to those and support any way you can.
Yeah, thank you. That's Chico State alumni. I agree. That's the best college in the whole world right there, Chico State. At least it was the best to be there, anyway. Back when we were the #1 party school in the nation. Anyway. All right, so we have 4 Rotarians that are going to tell their story today. And if you have to leave, now's the time, but it's an early dinner, but boy, you're going to miss that. Speakers have to stay. Chuck, I know you want to get this over with. Get up here. Our first new member talk will be Chuck Thompson. Chuck, take it away.
I'm going to play a little chronological pinball here, and I've got notes to keep me on track because I'm one of those kind of guys that are like, squirrel! So bear with me a little bit on that. But anyways, as a lot of you already know, we moved here from Folsom, California a year ago in October. Not exactly a new member, but we still feel new, and we're in the Folsom Rotary for almost 5 years. Yeah, Folsom, the Johnny Cash Folsom. Folsom Prison Blues. What a fun place to live. I tell you, sometimes we feel like we're still double agents of Rotary Club. We still keep in touch with the Rotary family down there. A lot of them come to visit us. We have a great time keeping in touch with them, showing them their area. Anyways, we're thankful that our kids are safe and our friends are safe from the fires in California. They're safe from the flames, but the smoke is really inundating. And that smoke is not just the smell, but it reminds everybody, this is the smell of lives that are being torn apart and destroyed in that area. So thousands of lives. So anyways, thank you for your prayers. So anyways, Connie and I both recently retired. We found a quiet place upriver, moved closer to Connie's mom, helped take care of her. And, you know, also get away from the 110-degree Sacramento heat, because it really sucks. But, so, you know, speaking of Connie's mom, this lady is one of the funniest, sweetest ladies I know. I scored in the mother-in-law lottery, okay? So she just loves to laugh and tell jokes, and I love getting her going. One time I got her going so bad, she almost peed her pants. But that was kind of payback, because she made me cough wine up out of my nose a couple of times. So, when we asked her what she wanted for Christmas recently, she says, roller skates. She's 91. But it was because of her huge sense of humor. So we have 2 kids at home, a silly Labrador named Cooper, a little black lab, Labrador for sure, and the neighbor's cat, Boots. We have kids. We do have 2 kids. Connie's kids adopted me, a son named Chris. He's in Sacramento, master mixologist. The guy, you know, when he was going to college, we sent him to bartending school, and we said, "Hey, do not make a living of this." So, but you know what? Now he's traveling the world, the country, distilling, making private blends of whiskey, and hanging out with Food Network chefs, and golfing at Pebble Beach. You know, damn kids, they just don't listen. And Erin, Connie's daughter, she's a business analyst in San Francisco, world traveler. She really loves calling her mom and saying, "Hey mom, guess what?" So when you hear that from your kids, they're kind of like, So, well, she told her mom that one time she ran with the bulls in Cancun, Spain. Mom almost fainted. Fun stuff. Both of them were born up here in the Northwest. Connie is from the Northwest. In fact, she was the nurse who was there with Terry Larson, helped deliver their first 2 kids, Steve and Terry Larson. So, in fact, we just met Steve, was it last week, at a Boys and Girls gala, fundraising gala. Well, a lot of fun. So, me, I was born and raised and served in the United States Air Force. My dad was a career military guy. He was, he passed away 32 years ago when he was at 51 years old, just before he separated from active duty. He was a dad who let me take control of an airplane. and taught me what every instrument meant and how to read it, how to operate it, how to land and take off an airplane. He taught me electronics, avionics, how to rebuild an engine in a car, all kinds of cool stuff. He even taught me how to reload my own ammo. Yeah, I really miss the guy. But he was also the guy who I drank beer with and ate more sushi than I can imagine at a little hole-in-the-wall sushi bar in Japan. I think we ate so much sushi, I think we were going to grow gills and swim home. Anyways, a little bit about my career. Kind of cue the harp music a little bit. My first job after a little bit of college was in the Air Force. I was a radio communications tech, stationed at Yokota Air Base, Japan. Beautiful country. And then the last 2 years in America's Heartland, Indiana, Grissom Air Base, Indiana. Beautiful place. Well, some people would beg to differ. It's amazing how fast corn grows. We watched it in the fields. It was fun. But, after my military service, I went to work as a communications tech, radio communications tech for SMUD, short for Sacramento Municipal Utilities District. I love the PUD and MUD names, MUDs and PUDs, SMUD, PUD, Skagit, that's SPUD. My favorites is East Bay Mud, EB Mud, and West Bay Mud, Weeby Mud. It's kind of so, after that, I did that for about 4 years, and I kind of got bored with communications techs, electronic stuff. I decided to go to helicopter flight school and learn how to fly helicopters, and I did that for several years. Did a lot of flight instruction, became an instructor, flew news channels, did some firefighting, and also the Department of Justice. That was back during the campaign against marijuana planting days. Interesting times. Anyways, there was a little recession in the early 90s, and in the words of Frank Robinson, he was the founder of Robinson Helicopters. His words rang in my mind. He says, during your career as a pilot, every year that you fly, you will know someone who will go down in a helicopter. And I'm like, damn. So during that recession, my only flying jobs that were available were the contract jobs, pretty much living out in a suitcase. I said, I think I'll go to something, switch careers, go to something a little safer, a little more stable. So I got back on the SMUD and started working on high voltage equipment, energized high voltage, but up to 230,000 volts. A lot safer. And I pretty much made a career of that, troubleshooting, and eventually became a senior electrical tech for City of Lodi substations. Anyways, but during that time in SMUD, in '96, a really violent electrical panel explosion put me in the hospital. Arc flash burns, but that's also when I met Connie. So that was the first time we met. I was just a patient. She made sure I had the best care possible. So after that, about 4 years later, we met again and started dating. And our first date was a dog walk date. During that date, I asked her, hey, would you like to go whitewater boating with me? Because I love whitewater boating in rivers. And I didn't know that she had just lost a patient who was a guide on a whitewater trip. But she said yes. Now, if that isn't trust, I don't know what is. So anyway, yeah, I got a change my page here so I can keep up. It helps me keep in track. Otherwise, I'm saying like a squirrel out there somewhere. So, anyways, it was Connie who's really the inspiration of us checking out Rotary. She said, let's check it out. We love the community. We love to get back to the community. And I wasn't sure what Rotary was. The more I learned, the more I realized we did make the right decision. It's a beautiful thing. The organization is amazing. We're honored to be Rotarians. Being Rotarians has given us the opportunity to give back to the community. That's what we really love doing. And in my opinion, the Sedro Woolley Rotary Club pretty much sets the bar when it comes to community service. We're just absolutely amazed what we do, you guys do, and what we have done. It's nothing short of impressive. So I would have to say the Sedro Woolley Rotary puts unity in the word community. It's really impressive. So anyways, thank you for including Connie and I. We're honored to be here.
Thank you, Jeff. And I don't know if that gets Connie off the hook for her new. I know she's just loves public speaking and being a limelight, so we'll see. Next up, how about Anna? Why don't you come out and regale us with your new member experiences? All right, let's welcome Anna Martin.
All right, so I was born in Clear Lake. I went to Sedro Woolley High School, played lots of sports as a kid. I love being active, I love the outdoors, so I played a lot of sports. I wasn't very good at most of them, but I definitely had a lot of spirit and passion for them. So got to Sedro Woolley High School and graduated in '09. I primarily did cross country and tennis and was fairly good at that. It was between cross country and soccer. And the seal of the deal was that they gave fudgesicles out at the end of practice at cross country. So, you know, priorities. Anyways, I loved my time at high school. I loved Sedro Woolley. And afterwards, I knew I wanted to go to college. I was dead set on going to college. I wasn't going to look at any other options. And so I chose to go to Gonzaga University. Once I walked on the campus, I absolutely loved it, just fell in love. And it was so far away from here. It was great, but it was still in the States. So I went there on a lot of scholarships, primarily for business. That's what I was going to go into, was get a business degree and a minor in music. So I went over to Gonzaga University, and a little bit of a rough transition getting over there. And my dad gave me some really great advice. He said, just get involved, just do something. So I got involved. I saw a flyer on campus for going out and bike riding. I was like, oh, I like to ride bikes. So I decided to show up at their informational first bike ride. And this is a funny story, so I'm just going to tell this to you really quick. It's also really embarrassing. So I had taken over my mom's old bike to college with me, you know, nice sit-up tall bike. And so I was like, yeah, I'll go bike riding, you know, whoever else shows up. This will be fun, I'll meet some people. And so I'm going across. If anybody's familiar with Gonzaga University, there's a nice big circle where everybody meets, all the clubs meet, things like that. So I knew what time this bike ride was, and so I threw on my sweatpants and a t-shirt, and they required a helmet, so I grabbed my childhood helmet, which was bright yellow, and threw it on, jumped on this bike, and I'm heading to the circle to meet all these, you know, whoever else is going to be there. And I'm coming up to where I can see the circle, and there's like 8 guys decked out in full spandex with like clip-on shoes and, you know, nice drop bar racing bikes and those cool aerodynamic helmets. I'm like, oh my gosh, this was such a mistake. But, you know, at that point, if you're familiar with the circle, once you start to head towards the circle, there's really no going back. And like, maybe they won't see me and the earth will just swallow me up at this moment and I don't have to do this bike ride. But that didn't happen. So one of the guys actually waved. I'm like, oh no, you're waving at me. So I went up to these guys thinking this is just the worst. I'm in my yellow helmet and sweatpants and you must think I'm an idiot. And anyways, they were super nice. Some of those guys became really close friends. There were no other girls on the team, so after I joined, I got some other girls to join the team, so I wasn't the only one. And they were a very, very nice group of people. So I did spring road racing for the first time in my life and got really invested into that. But the best thing that I think I did was cyclocross. I don't know if anybody's familiar with cyclocross, but it's adventure racing. And so you basically go through like mud and dirt and you throw your bike up on your shoulder and you do jumps over certain obstacles and you run up mountains. And it was a blast. It was way better than road racing. So anyways, I went over there to do a business degree and to get my minor in music, because music has always been a big part of my life. I've been singing since I was a little kid. And my freshman year, I took my first accounting class. Hated it. Ooh, it was terrible. It was not for me. At the same time, I was taking a calculus class for fun. and because I love math, and accounting I just couldn't wrap my head around. So to get a business degree, I had to take 3 years of accounting, which was not something I was going to do, was to spend that kind of money to take classes that I just couldn't get behind. So I know Travis, I'm sorry. I love math, but accounting was just not math, for me at least. Anyway, so that didn't work out so well. So I switched majors, I went to international studies, and long story short, I went to Gonzaga for 2 years. I did not end up graduating, and like I said, it's a long story. I really wanted to graduate, I wanted to get my college degree, but my life just ended up going different directions, and I finally realized that I was going to be successful in life without a college degree. So what would have been my junior year, when I first got over to Gonzaga, they have a sister school in Florence, so I was going to do the Florence program because I love to travel, and I thought, wow, what a cool opportunity. So I did all the steps to do that Florence program, and then they paired me up with a mentor who had already done the program, and he was well-meaning, but he was like, oh yeah, you're going to have a great time over there, all you do is drink and party. I'm like, wow, I am not spending that kind of money to go over there and drink and party. So while it was only his perspective, I did switch directions at that moment, and I did my own work exchange over what would have been the first semester of my junior year. So I did a work exchange through HealthX, and I went over to Switzerland, and I worked at a dog hotel because I love animals, and I thought it would be a super fun job. It's a lot of work. We got started at 5 in the morning, and we cleaned the facility, and these were high maintenance dogs that were here. So there were medications and dog walks and dog grooming and baths and feedings and lots of cleaning. I picked up more poop in that period of time than I will ever pick up in my entire life. So it was a unique experience, and I was going to be there for 3 months, but I switched after a month because I wasn't really there for the cultural immersion that I was hoping to do while I was working abroad. And it was a work exchange, so you worked for room and board. So then I popped over to Italy, visited my friends who were doing the Florence program, got to explore there. Then I came back to Switzerland and went to the French part, because you know Switzerland is split into the Italian, French, and German part. So I started the Italian part, and then I went to the French part, and I worked for a gal, and I just did odd jobs, and it was great, because I could do all of her odd jobs, and then I was able to go hiking and kind of get a chance to see the area that I was in, which was part of the reason of going over there. So I was there for the remainder of my time, came back, and went to work here in the Valley, and then that summer, so that was 2014, I went up to Alaska, a job opportunity to present itself to do seasonal work up there through Holland American Princess. So I went up to Skagway, Alaska, which is southeast Alaska, right at the tip of the Inside Passageway, and that was one of the best things that I've done in my life. I absolutely loved it. I went up there as guest services. I was 20 years old, and so I wasn't old enough to do some of the jobs over there as far as driving. That's a big cruise ship town in the seasonal time, and so a lot of the jobs were driver guides, people that drove motor coaches and toured. So my first season up, I was a guest service representative and worked on the cruise ships. I did a lot of embark and disembark, so that was pretty fascinating because I got a chance to see the behind the scenes of cruise ship work, and also go on all the tours because I was selling them. So I went on a helicopter tour for the first time in my life on a glacier. That was amazing, and it was all just part of my job. And the area is beautiful, Skagway, Alaska, if anybody is familiar with it or has been there. It's nestled in between these big, beautiful mountains right there on the ocean. And within 4 miles out of town, which is a very small town, you go right up a mountain pass. So from sea level to within 12 miles from there, you're going up to about over 4,000 feet. So it's a very, very steep, winding mountain pass, and within about 1.5 miles out of town, you cross over into the Yukon Territory. So you go over to Canada. So it's a fascinating place. Anyway, so after my first year out there, I knew I wanted to go back, but I wanted to be a driver guide. So I came back during the off season, and I worked, and I got my commercial driver's license up in Bellingham. So then the next year that I went up, I was a driver guide, and I drove motor coaches that were 45 to 60 feet in length, and toured and told stories and met all sorts of people. It really opened my eyes to the fact that stereotypes are they come from a very real place. So when you work in the tourist business, you really get a chance to meet a lot of people, and it was amazing. Plus the people that I worked with were just it was like family up there. So I went back the next 2 years, and I was a driver guide. I drove and I toured, and I drove up and down the mountain pass all the time, and I hung out with the mechanics to fix my bus, and it was just an amazing experience. And I would have probably kept going up there, except that the management team kind of went downhill my last summer up there, and it was getting very dramatic, and I'm not a very dramatic person. So I decided to move on, even though it was just an incredible experience. As I mentioned, I'm an outdoor enthusiast, so I love to hike and kayak and camp and fish and shoot guns and everything. And you can do just about everything in Alaska. So I kayaked Glacier Bay while I was up there, spent a week chasing whales, and just so many things, so many hikes that I chose to tell my mom about afterwards. And so after Alaska, I came back and I bought my first house here in the valley and started working and started to build roots here. So a couple of things that I'm involved in and that I do is, most of you know that I sing in the barbershop quartet. So I do that with my mom. I've been doing that for 6 years now. And the last 3 years, we compete as well as do just fun gigs. And so the last 3 years that we competed regionally in Spokane, we placed medals, that's top 5. So that was pretty exciting. Our second year, so a couple years back, our second year medaling, we got a high enough score that we were chosen as a wild card to compete internationally. So you compete regionally first, and then you compete internationally. So we competed in Vegas last year at the MGM Grand, which was amazing. It was so wild to walk the behind-the-scene hallways and see these huge posters of like Bon Jovi and all of these amazing artists, you know, different people, and you're just like, oh, okay. And the stage was huge and it was unreal. So we got the chance to do that, and that was pretty cool. And then just this year, because, you know, had a little free time, thought I'd use it, I auditioned for a very, very good chorus in Canada, and I got in. So I am now singing with them, and they won regionally this year, which means that they will compete next year internationally in New Orleans. So we'll be going there next year with them, and so once a week I bust over the border to Canada and sing with them, and that's quite an experience. They're very good. They placed second at Vegas when we were competing in the world, and that's everybody. And then just recently, this spring I guess, my friend roped me into becoming the president of the FFA Alumni Club, which is a brand new club. If anybody's interested, please come hang out with us. We could really use some more members. So I'm helping out with that. I used to do FFA when I was in high school and loved it. Our team won state, went to the next level, and we did fine. So other than that, I'm not married. I don't have any kids yet. I do have 14 nieces and nephews, big family, and I have one great niece now. So that's pretty crazy. I have 2 dogs, Kira and Tacoma, and then I have 3 cats, Boots and Maggie and Rascal. And so I love animals. I grew up with animals. We always had animals growing up, so they've always been a big part of my life. And yeah, I can't think of anything else to share with you. So I will say I joined Rotary really because of my dad's participation into it. I've had the great honor to kind of watch that all these years, and his passion and love for this club and for the service back into the community. And so when I finally realized I was going to be here for a bit of time before my next big adventure, then I figured I would start to make some roots and give back to this community that I also love so much. So Rotary is always, you know, growing up in this community was always a part of my life, and I was Rotary Student of the Month, and I had Rotary scholarships that took me over to college, and used to help out with the auctions, roped in, and yeah, so it's very fun to be a part of this club and to be able to do some of that service back. So thank you.
All right.
Thank you, man. Kind of makes you proud, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty brilliant. Wait, our next speaker is going to get her computer up and running, and with God's grace, maybe it'll work. Looks like it's doing pretty good. Welcome. Are you ready, Danny? Let's welcome Danny Russell. Thank you very much.
Okay, maybe not more. As most of you know, my name is Danny Beard Russell. I was named after both my father and my grandfather. Both of their names were Danny. My mom thought she would be safe in naming me Danielle, and that there would be no more confusion with names, but of course now everyone calls me Danny, and it just makes it even more difficult. So, my maiden name, Beard, most people still recognize me by that name and not by Russell, even though I've been married for 7 years. And my husband, Michael, really likes it when he gets called Mr. Baird. So to kind of start with my roots here in Skagit County, I was born in Seattle, but I moved to Big Lake in 1987. I've lived on the same road in Big Lake, Sulphur Springs, since we moved here. My parents originally bought the house thinking we'd be here for 3-6 months. We fix it up and we move somewhere else because they went to a lot of it in construction, but I guess they were wrong because we still live on Sulphur Springs.
That isn't working with the switch.
Try that one.
I'll try this one. I attended school at Big Lake and went K through 12 in Sedro School District. This picture here is of me and my oldest son, Nash. He just started this year at Big Lake. The two pictures here, this is myself, we're in the same classroom at Big Lake Elementary. Only difference is that was me in first grade. My kindergarten class was actually in the basement cafeteria on about 8x10 rug. This is me on my wedding day over at Overlook Golf Course. So Big Lake is a really big part of my life. Took a couple hacks, they ended up in the pond. And then this is another picture of me in 6th grade at Big Lake. And the reason I share this picture is because the teacher at the time was Robert Guy, and he was probably one of the most influential teachers I had growing up. He had a love for technology. As a 6th grader, we learned how to clean keyboards and mice, and actually we cleaned them for the entire school district at the time. One of the other things that he had a love for was history. As a 6th grader, every day we recited the Bill of Rights, the preamble, and the Pledge of Allegiance before we were even allowed to sit down. So moving on, I spent my time obviously at Sedro High School. A couple pictures to share here. I know Stephanie showed this one. I didn't spend a lot of time in the principal's office. Actually, I only spent one day in the principal's office, and that was for the day that we decided to wear Carhartts, and I guess we were perpetuating the stereotype of being Hicks. A couple more photos. Here's Jeremy, Rotarian, and Stephanie. We had a lot of fun in high school. We spent a lot of time doing stupid stuff. We would get bored easily, so this was Yellow Shirt Day. These are some of my best friends up here from high school, and this was probably about 2 years ago. We're all still really close. Softball. I can't talk about kind of my journey in my life without talking about softball. It was a major part of my life growing up and still is a major piece of my life today. When I was in high school, we went to the state tournament all 4 years. We won multiple district titles, multiple league titles, and then my senior year, we took 3rd at state. This was my senior year, and the best thing I love about this photo is that I am still in contact with every single teammate from that photo. Oh, and I guess now I should say I volunteer at the high school too. So I'm still part of the program over at Sedro.
Are you coaching?
Yeah, volunteer coach at Sedro.
Oh, nice. Good job.
So softball, everybody kind of wonders why I represent Oregon, and the reason for that is because that's where my softball journey took me. I originally had had committed to go to Western Washington University, but the coach at the time got let go right before going, so then I had to come up with a second change of plans. While I was at the University of Oregon, I played softball for them for 4 years. We were ranked as high as number 10 in the nation. We missed the World Series twice, 2 years in a row. We actually forced the if game, if anybody knows what that is, and didn't quite make it. Probably the most special thing about playing at Oregon was that my best friend Sarah Hyatt, also a Sedro graduate, played at the University of Washington, so we got to compete against each other for the 4 years that we were there. Also, while I was at Oregon, Sedro alumni Jessica Crosby, who went to Rutgers University, and Lauren Sandelin, who went to the University of Pacific. I got to play against both of them in a tournament, so it was really cool to go play at the next level, but also have a little bit of peace at home while competing. I graduated from U of O in 2006 with a political science degree. I thought for a few minutes that I might want to go to law school, and then I quickly changed my mind. I decided that I was going to join my family in real estate, and while I was in college, I would stay in Oregon to train, and one summer I was between training, I actually got licensed. So I've been licensed as a real estate agent for a little over 14 years. When I talk about real estate, my parents have been selling real estate here in Skagit Valley for a little over, or right around 30 years. My mom's an agent, my dad's an agent, my brother's an agent, my aunt's an agent, so it kind of is a family thing. My parents like to tell the story that when I was about 7 or 8, we pulled up to the house, and I had obviously done this enough that the first thing I said was, well, that one needs work. So today, with my parents, I co-own the John L. Scott office in Mount Vernon and also here in Cedar Woolley. And one of the fun things that I love about the group I work with is that there's only 3 of us in this picture, but there's actually 5 of us that went to Big Lake Elementary that now work together. So, this is my mom. This is my husband. This is my husband, Michael. He is a 2000 graduate of Sedro High School. He is also a graduate of this purple school over here. We've been married a little over 7 years. We've been together for 11 years. We both went off to college, and when we got back, we were hanging out with the sports gang, and one thing led to another, and now we're married. We did hang out in high school. My husband has no recollection of any of these events, but there is photo proof of it. We, every year, our big date, no matter what is going on in our lives, is we do make it to the Oregon Husky game. We just went to our 12th game down in Eugene. You guys all know who won. Since we've been together, unfortunately, I have held most of the bragging rights, but it definitely makes for an interesting household during football season. I should say he works over at Snelson and Cedar Woolley, and he loves when I volunteer him for stuff. These are my boys. This is Nash and Hayes, also known as Thing 1 and Thing 2, Buzz and Buzz. Nash here is going to be 6 next month, and Hayes just turned 4 in September. Hayes goes to Burlington Middle School, and where one of my best friends from Sedro High School is the executive director, so that's fun because I get text messages throughout the day that he's taken his clothes off or has done something crazy. And Nash, like I mentioned, goes to Big Lake. These two definitely keep me on my toes. They're full of energy. They love to be outside. One of their favorite things to do during the summer is participate in Trek for Treasure. We do that as a family. And yeah, they look really sweet in the photos. Just a few more photos of my family. My family here is actually relatively small. I don't have a large extended family in the area. Growing up, I always said I would never marry anyone from Sedro Woolley, and of course I did, and now I'm related to half the town. This is my husband's family, also on our wedding day. Again, I mentioned my brother earlier. This is my brother John. He was a 2003 graduate of Sedro High School and also a basketball player at Chico State.
Go Chico.
This was us on track record this year. I shared this slide. This is my last slide because aside from my family and my work, the thing that I'm most passionate about is my community, and I try to know a little bit about every group out there as much as possible and get involved. I was actually the director of the Mount Vernon Boys and Girls Club for a couple of years. I've been involved with Skagit Valley College athletic program. I was actually the softball coach there for a year. I am a board member of the Sedro Alumni and Schools Foundation. I was in Kiwanis for a couple of years, and I ran the volunteers for the Kiwanis Salmon Barbecue. And managing 500 people during the month of April was quite the chore. So I currently am involved with mentoring student athletes from Skagit as well as the University of Oregon. And I spent 2014 as a participant and member of Leadership Skagit. So when I left Kiwanis after the birth of my second son, I knew that Sedro Woolley Rotary is where my heart was going to take me. I wanted to make sure that the places and the time that I was giving to my community was going to impact my family and my kids. And so that was what led me to Sedro Woolley. I was a Rotary Student of the Month and scholarship winner. Couple fun facts, I just thought I'd end on that. I haven't drank milk since elementary school. I once was invited to go bowling at the White House, and I passed on that invitation. I used to pogo stick, and I did 2,000 times in a row once, and then the spring on my pogo stick broke, so I just stopped at an even number. My final credits in college, I took tap dancing and billiards, and I was Rotary Student of the Month in 2002. So thank you for having me.
Well done, well done. Well, we had one more scheduled, but we got so involved with the first three, we're going to have to postpone Brian Bronk until the next time. That's okay with Brian. All right. You know, Danny's husband, Michael, I didn't know him very well, so he's out there playing softball with us, and he hits a home run to the left field, batting right-handed. So the next time he came up, I said, hey, that left-handed, make it fair, you know, so he hits it farther and bigger home run. Big athlete there. That family is going to have, those boys are going to be athletes, I can just tell you.
I hope so.
If you've ever watched Danny play softball, which I did back in the day, she and Sarah Hyatt were absolutely the crushers of the ball. They were the best of the best. And they both went D1, and it was really exciting to see that. So thank you for growing up and seeing what you do. Do us so proud. All right, we're about out of time, so let's end the meeting. I want to remind people to take down tables and chairs. And we have Avery Martin's work party Saturday. Mike Janicki, you are leading the charge to get it done. Thank you very much. And I want to also thank our visitors, Luke, Evan, Carrie, if they're still here, no, and Sylvia. With that, we are adjourned.